I know what you're thinking. When you have the power to literally rewrite the reality of the show you're in, do you really need other powers?
Mother pugger.
I'm here to tell you yes. Yes, you do. Supposedly, after meeting Kevin, She-Hulk's access to the real world was cut off, meaning the next time we see her, she will have to rely on the powers gained through the gamma transference encounter with her cousin Bruce.
No.
She-Hulk obviously has incredible strength and a word or two to say in the courtroom, but there's so many powers she has that not only have we not seen, but she may not even know about. Let's take a look at some of She-Hulk's hidden powers right now.
Get off me.
She-Hulk at times may seem like just a giant wrecking ball, just like her cousin, but she's actually learned to fight with a lot more finesse and precision than just, smashing stuff. This type of fighting likely comes from her ability to control her transformations, and remain in control once she turns a little greener than everyone else. She-Hulk has mastered a fighting style involving nerve attacks. Think of Ty Lee from Avatar. Essentially, by hitting certain nerve points, she can render a person entirely immobile or unconscious. Jennifer Walters displayed this ability not even in her She-Hulk form. When she came across some muggers, she actually was wearing a device preventing her from making the change. She resorted to a fighting style called Centaurian martial arts, shocking everyone around her. After all, why learn such a precise fighting style when you can just throw tanks at people? It turns out another hero, Gamora, gave She-Hulk a crash course in this type of fighting, and it often comes in handy. While the Hulk family may be A-okay with gamma radiation, sometimes we forget just how deadly that stuff is to the average bank robber. While it's well known that most Hulks, Jennifer Walters included, have immense amounts of that stuff running through their veins, many people don't realize how much of their body is composed of it. This boils all the way right down to their saliva. That's right, She-Hulk's spit is just riddled with the stuff. Once this liquid gamma concoction oozes from She-Hulk's mouth, I'm sort of realizing just how gross this one is, it is so radioactive that it basically burns through anything it touches. She has used this rather gross attack against a slew of enemies, but thankfully it's one that only occurs in her She-Hulk form. But still, if there just so happens to be a wall strong enough to hold She-Hulk back, enough time and a whole lot of spit just might do the trick. Anyone with a brain can tell that She-Hulk is pretty tough already. Whether it be Titania, Abomination, or her very own cousin Bruce, she's definitely proven to be able to take a punch. And truthfully, even with all of these incredibly superpowered enemies, there's very little that can hurt She-Hulk in the first place. Which is probably why she doesn't have to show off this next power very often. Characters like Wolverine or Deadpool can go into any fight completely unrestricted, because whatever damage they take gets repaired almost instantly. While She-Hulk may not be able to heal that quickly, there's a reason her nickname is the Immortal She-Hulk. When it comes right down to it, she has a healing factor so top-notch that any injury she does manage to sustain will certainly heal itself. The Incredible Hulk has shown the ability to regrow entire limbs, and while Jennifer has not gotten the chance to show this off yet, it's safe to say she shares this power as well, especially with the level of regenerative healing we have seen. While there are many powers She-Hulk has just by nature of being a Hulk, there are some that Jennifer Walters has taken the time to learn, differentiating herself from her gamma-irradiated family. She-Hulk has found herself in seemingly impossible to escape situations that require her to broaden her skill set. Jennifer Walters found herself imprisoned in a space jail. She befriended her cellmate, an alien of the ovoid species named Louise. Because of her nature, Louise has an innate ability using a special technique that allows her to swap bodies with someone. So Jennifer Walters had Louise teach her this power. Eventually learning how to body swap, She-Hulk escaped and went on some crazy adventures, but everyone seems to skip over the part that Jennifer can literally switch bodies with people. Has she used it since? No. But still, she probably could just switch bodies with Kang and do the "why are you hitting yourself" gag over and over.
Yeah.
There are some powers Jennifer has, but has never used. Luckily, we can look at the source of her powers to see just what she is capable of. Unlike the Incredible Hulk, Jennifer is usually able to fully control herself in her Hulk state. When the Incredible Hulk gets angry, he only grows stronger. However, we're all human, even Jennifer Walters. She has sometimes lost control of her anger while in her Hulk form, and proved that her strength also increases with her level of rage. This means that theoretically, she could achieve any power that the angry Hulk has. One cool one that would be wild to see would be a concentrated release of gamma energy emanating from her eyes. Yes, there was once a time where the Hulk got so mad that he shot frickin' laser beams directly from his eyes. Should She-Hulk get angry enough, she very well could do the same. Just when Homelander thought he had a leg up, too. She-Hulk is such an incredible hero that one would have to say creating her is a pretty cool power in and of itself. While Bruce Banner's gamma-irradiated blood would kill most people should it enter their bloodstream, it does have the power to give people his abilities.
No, I'm doing this.
Okay, this is completely new territory.
Usually, these are blood relatives like Jennifer Walters, but this was also the case for Emil Blonsky. Turning people into Hulks is a power that should definitely be wielded responsibly, and given that the same blood that created She-Hulk now runs through her veins, it's safe to say that she has this power now as well. She-Hulk could turn anyone she wanted into a Hulk, you know, assuming the gamma radiation doesn't kill them first. We've already talked about how She-Hulk's healing is the reason that she is called the Immortal She-Hulk. However, she has another power that brings the name completely into literal reality. She-Hulk has died before. In fact, other Hulks have as well, including Betty Ross, who became the Harpy and eventually the Red She-Hulk. However, when this happened, it was revealed that Hulks in general cannot really die at all. Betty showed that gamma-irradiated cells have the ability to regenerate even after they have died. Essentially, even if Jennifer Walters comes up against someone so powerful that they can finish the job is never truly finished. The Immortal She-Hulk has the literal ability to come back from the great beyond. Some heroes have powers that can bring down even the strongest of characters. The world could be on the brink of destruction, but as long as you have a telepath on your side, it's likely that you have a way to bring the cause of it down. Certain powerhouses like Magneto and the Juggernaut have to wear helmets to avoid being immediately defeated by Professor X. Now, She-Hulk is not 100% resistant to this power, but she has shown some ability to avoid having her mind taken over by those with the power to do so. Her cousin Bruce, thanks to his fragile psyche backed by gamma radiation, has been able to resist Professor X and the Scarlet Witch. She-Hulk missed out on a lot of the traumatic past that split Bruce's personality in two, but it's likely that her gamma radiation and strong will could allow Jennifer Walters to do the same. You may not be surprised to learn that Jennifer Walters has some of the powers you hadn't thought of before. These powers, as we will talk about multiple times on this list, come from Jennifer Walters having enhanced human abilities in almost every way. One of those ways is her increased lung capacity. A superhuman level of muscles in both her lungs and her abdomen basically gives She-Hulk the power of super breath. Superman is perhaps one of the more famous people to wield this power, and while we've never seen She-Hulk basically create tornadoes like him, she could definitely knock someone off their feet with a strong gust of wind. There are skills that any normal human can have that still come in handy in many situations. Take Jennifer's legal skills, for example. Anyone can be a great lawyer, but because She-Hulk has mastered it as well, she can now take down criminals in the street and in the courtroom. But everyone knew that about her. She's She-Hulk, attorney at law. Another talent She-Hulk has learned along the same lines is how to fly. Jennifer Walters has become a proficient pilot for situations that call for it. Whether it be planes or spaceships, Jennifer Walters has been able to save many people thanks to her learned skills. Overall, it's certainly not as useful as some of her other abilities, but hey, I don't have a flying car. She-Hulk is beyond the peak of human physicality in almost every way, and there are some powers that she doesn't use often, or that people may not think of immediately, but after a quick brainstorm it should make a lot of sense. Characters like The Flash, Quicksilver, and Makari are famous for their increased levels of super speed. While She-Hulk may not be able to reach the levels of superhero speedsters like those who make it their brand, the gamma coursing through her body has increased the ability of every muscle in her body, including the ones in her legs. Because of this increased strength, She-Hulk has the ability not only to leap tall buildings, but also run at speeds faster than cars on the highway. This power usually gets forgotten beyond the green hue and smashing, but make no mistake, there's very few people She-Hulk would lose to in a foot race. All of Jennifer's special powers come from that fateful day when she became a gamma-irradiated super being, just like her cousin, who transfused his blood into her to save her life. It's given her increased strength, speed, and even acidic spit, but truthfully, one of her greatest powers you may not have known about is her ability to manipulate gamma radiation itself. Not only can she absorb it, giving herself power boosts in times of need, but she can also emit it from her body, effectively killing or damaging everything within a certain radius of her. Essentially, She-Hulk can turn herself into a very deadly gamma bomb. She-Hulk tends not to use this power, as she is usually in control and knows just how dangerous gamma radiation can be if used irresponsibly. It's for this reason she tends to use her fists most of the time. But trust me when I say, gamma bomb or no gamma bomb, her fists are usually enough. The Immortal She-Hulk could have a number of different nicknames based on the power she's hiding up her sleeve. Though acidic spit She-Hulk doesn't quite have a nice ring to it. Which of She-Hulk's powers were you most surprised to find out that she has?